Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Thank you so much for coming back for another episode. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about impact. But before we embark on the topic for the day, I'd like to say a big thank you to those of you who may have liked, shared, subscribed, reached out, taking time out of your busy schedule to listen to me. I really, really do appreciate you. And I hope you have had the chance to watch the previous videos just to understand the trajectory of how you can learn about life principles through the eyes of a gardener. What the garden can teach you, or gardening can teach you about navigating life in the way we're supposed to, according to God's purpose, plans, and purpose, and how He intended us to live life. So today's topic, as we're talking about impact, we've spoken about identity, we've spoken about purpose. Now the idea is impact, and one of the things regarding impact is really comes down to the question people tend to ask. Okay, fine. So how do I make a difference in my little sphere of life? Um, and something about seeds that really intrigues me is this fact that seeds carry generational potential. That's it. I'm not sure if you watched the episode, I think it was episode 2, episode 3 of during the planting season when we talked about harvesting your seeds from your fruit and then doing that for the next generation, the next produce you get and the next produce you get. They are called heirloom seeds, which just means that they have lived on from one planting season to another. I find that really, really and truly amazing. But that's how seeds are, and that's how we should be. So our scriptural bearing for this is going to be Matthew 5:16. It says, "Let your light shine before men, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." That's really what it is. I tell people, I try to live that way. It's not by, when you go about preaching the gospel or showing God to people, you're showing God to people through your actions. What do you do? How do you do it? And all of that. And if you're looking at it from the perspective of gardening, like a tomato plant yields fruit with seeds for the next season. So that's where your actions, big or small, can cause a ripple through your family, your workplace, your community. You understand? That's really it. And even with that, you have like a tomato. A tomato can be eaten fresh. It can be cooked in salad. It can be preserved. It can be used to make tomato soup. It can be used for so many things. That's the way impact can do. Impact can take many forms. The idea with that impact is nourishing others. Yes, you're bearing fruit. That's your purpose. But then what do you do with that fruit? How does it impact others? How are you helping out humanity by your purpose? I know, like, one of the things I try to live by is I believe I'm blessed to be a blessing. Is the idea of sharing what you have with others. Think of it like a sales. Let's even go. Let me put gardening aside. Let's think of it as a sales. How many of you, when you go somewhere and find something, a deal that is amazing, whereby you're getting like value for something, how many people do you call and tell them about the sales? I imagine you call a number of people. That is still the same way when you have the good news or have something that can benefit people, you share. You share that information to enrich and empower people. That's really where impact starts from. And that's how it continues to grow.
Demonstration purpose. This is one tomato seed. And the tomato seed here will produce fruit. Now, these are the only ripe tomatoes I have at home. But typically, one seed produces a lot more fruit than this. But for illustration purpose, this is fruit that is produced from that one seed and more. Now, from that fruit, you can eat them fresh, use them in salads. They are used for tinned tomatoes or tomato pastes. They are used for diced or crushed tomatoes. They are used for, or can be used for tomato soup, canning. The potential for what tomatoes can be used, i.e. your fruit can be used, their impact is endless. You can dry it, make it into a powder. It's limitless. So that way, think of the idea of impact. One fruit can produce impact in multiple ways. Think of it when you're thinking about your reach, and think of it in terms of the fruit or from a seed and what that fruit can be used for.
I'll be sharing 5 steps to uncover or discover or unravel how to make an impact. Step 1, enrich the soil. That's more like preparing the environment. When you want to plant, you know how you go, you clean the grass, remove the weeds, make it a good soil, a good environment for your seed to grow. That's the same way you think of your impact and your purpose. That's your seed. Speak words of encouragement, act with integrity, create spaces at home, work, and in your community where you and others can feel safe, supported, and inspired to grow. The truth is, no matter how much of an impact you want to make, if you're in the wrong environment, it will be hard. So surround yourself with the right environment whereby you're able to produce that impact that you were created to be. Step 2, plan generously, give beyond yourself. Sow abundantly with your time, knowledge, and resources. Share encouragement, guidance, or acts of service freely, trusting that every small intentional effort can take root and multiply in ways you've never seen it. I think for some of us back home, where we have like usually like planting season in the tropics, we just carry seeds and we throw it in our backyard, and before you know it, it starts sprouting and start producing fruit. Think of it that way in terms of impact and how you're going to plant and sow seeds generously anywhere, any way you can with your time. And funny thing is, it doesn't necessarily take so much from you in terms of what you can do for somebody. And I'll give you an example. This happened to me yesterday. I was heading to superstores to go grocery shopping, and I happened to call a friend. And the friend was like, "Oh, she wanted to go out, but she didn't feel like going out." And I'm like, "Okay, fine. I'm in the neighborhood. I'm going to superstores. What do you need?" Funny, it was just one item that she needed. I got the item for her, and on my way back, I dropped it off. And she was so grateful for that little gesture I did. For me, it was like, what the heck? I'm just going to superstores. I might as well pick something. I'm not necessarily going out of my way to do anything for somebody. But the impact it had on her was very profound. It was something very, very, it was real. It was something that she really needed at that point in time. So don't underestimate small things or small gestures you can do to make an impact on people. Step 3 is water consistently, show up faithfully. Same thing. I think planting has taught us faithfulness and consistently, whereby you don't water your plant once and leave it to go. You water it every day. That's the same way with impact. You nurture growth through steady, faithful care. Show up regularly in the lives of others, offering encouragement and keep investing your energy, even when results seem slow. Now, I know this is maybe focused on being like encouraging people or being in people's faces or people in people's spaces. You don't necessarily have to be that. It can be a word of encouragement. It can be something you've learned, something you've seen, something new. Those are little things that you'll be surprised at the impact it has in terms of what you're doing. Step 4, still the idea of share your gifts boldly. Use what you've been given. We tend to, okay, me, when I say we, I'm talking about more or less of me or people like me. Sometimes we tend to shy away from using our gifts or not realizing that what we have with us are really gifts. So the idea is use your gifts, figure out what that gift is, and use your gifts and talents God has placed in you to bless others. Blessed to be a blessing. Step out intentionally, knowing that even small acts of service or encouragement can ripple far beyond your immediate circle. Don't underestimate the value of your gifts, no matter how small or how inconsequential you may think it is. And step 5 is just leave seeds behind. Multiply your influence. Focus on creating a lasting legacy. Mentor, teach, encourage, and live by example so that the growth you inspire continues to multiply. Think about it. Every seed you plant in another person's life extends beyond your influence into the next season. I'll give you an example. Imagine I teach one person or three people how to grow, how to plant. The three people, each of them teach three other people how to do that. Think of it that automatically means that my one show, my one gesture, nine people have benefited it through others. Think of impact that way. You know how we go with that multi-level marketing that seems to be reigning or seems to keep on coming and going. Think of impact that way. One person impacting few and those impacting others, and then it continues going and giving forward. That's the idea, or that's the essence of impact. You don't have to go in terms of impacting a million at a time. Start small. Each one, reach one. That's how your impact will spread. And think of impact in terms of values that will live beyond you. For our reflection, think of your life as a garden. I think that's straightforward. What seeds have you planted recently? Are you nurturing growth in a way that matters? Always remember that impact is both practical and spiritual. Acts of service, encouragement, and generosity are tangible ways to leave an impact. Our reminder is 1 Peter 4:10, which says that as each has received a gift, use it to serve one another as good stewards of God's varied grace. So, homework for the week, action item for this week. Just think about it. Just as a gardener looks for the best spots to plant seeds and the best soil for the seeds to grow, take time this week to identify areas where you can make an impact. As we always touch base to, you can't give what you don't have. That's just it. So consider your gifts, your experiences, and the needs around you, and take one intentional step to plant encouragement, guidance, mentorship, or service that can grow and bless others. I would say it again, and that's what I try to live by. I am blessed to be a blessing. And that's just profound in terms of what we should live by, no matter how small. Don't underestimate what you have in you. It can be a blessing to somebody else. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, bye bye.